Could XCN hypothetically be a top 5 player in the market that it is in? I think so, even though that's not financial advice. The reason being is because not only do I just think XCN could hypothetically reach the price of $1 during this bull run, but another reason is because when I take a look at the space that it's focused on, there really isn't that many good competitors. I mean, just think about this logically, right? Again, nothing I'm saying is financial advice, but here's the thing. We take a look at Ripple, of course, aka XRP. We all know that. We all know Stellar, aka XLM. We all know XDC. But then really beyond that, who's the fourth place here? That's pretty much XCN. So I think that automatically means that it's top 5 in my opinion. Now, of course, some people may argue this other project or whatever, but when it comes to this unique niche, in my opinion, when it comes to projects that are focused on global trade and finance, focused on the payments market, and have that somewhat of a vibe of like an XRP and XLM, this is pretty much top 5 in my opinion. I mean, there really isn't that many good competitors. Now, what is the reason for this? From my, perspective, the reason is because the Ripple and SEC case. Now, we got to think about what went down there because, the SEC thought that hypothetically, allegedly, that XRP was a security. But I've never understood this. Now, I'm going to get into this because I never thought that it was a security because when someone, let's say, acquires XRP, that doesn't automatically mean that they acquire part of Ripple. So it doesn't make sense why it's even a security in the first place, or should I say even considered a security, right? Allegedly. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that what it is, right? What I've seen. However, the way I take a look at it is that when it comes to that case, a lot of people got kind of scared. These developers, they don't really want to join in on the space. And as a result of that, they focus on other areas. They focus on other projects. I think a lot of developers that were originally taking a look at this, they were probably thinking like, okay, maybe our project could be good, but then we enter a space that has a lot of controversy. It's just not a good look. You know what I mean? It could just make the project off to a bad start or make it start off in a bad note, so to speak, right? And I think people wanted to do that. So then what happened? I think as a result of that, there wasn't really that many competitors. Now, is that necessarily a good thing? Maybe not, because of course, if there was like a bunch, maybe XCN or XDC wouldn't be considered, top 5. But if anything, it's actually a blessing in disguise because now not many people entered. This is considered, one of the big players. So the way I view it is that when that massive retail FOMO really kicks back in a massive way, once the attention is really there, once the bull run is really in 5th gear, guess what happens if a lot of people are focusing on a market and there really isn't that many good competitors? Naturally, the ones that do exist have a higher probability to be, chosen, right? So the way to take a look at it is that XCN, it's in this very unique position, again, where it's in a market that really doesn't have that many good competitors. Now, of course, we naturally know that XRP and XLM are going to be the leaders, but of course, at times people, they get bored. They want to move on. So that is where something like XDC steps in, XCN steps in. And when you take a look at XRP and XLM, really, the room for growth really doesn't feel that dynamic anymore, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to do bad. I still think it's going to do pretty good as the burn progresses. But when you take a look at XCN, I just think that it has more gas in the tank, so to speak. It has more to prove. Not to mention, when we take a look at Charles Hoskinson, who not only is the co-founder of Ethereum, but the founder of Cardano, he does predict that in the next 1 or 2 years, based on a video that he was part of back in November of last year in 2024, he said that during that time frame, he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. So I think that, if anything, showcases that the bull run is far from over. I think as of right now, we really haven't seen anything yet. I mean, we haven't even seen Bitcoin reach the price of $150,000 yet, right? Imagine once it does that, 200,000, 250,000, the sky could very well be the limit. And I'm going to wait for that because I've been waiting for XCN anyways, right? Before this pumped even. Remember when I talked about XCN? Some people were a little bit iffy, but then soon after that, it pumped. Now, granted, things are having a pullback as of right now, but the way I take a look at it is that the race is far from over. I don't think this is the end just yet. You know what I mean? I don't think it's ever going to be the end, actually, when it comes to the crypto space. However, when it comes to just this bull run, I don't think it's over yet. You know what I mean? However, even besides that, when I take a look at it historically speaking, altcoins, they've been known to peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. The last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April last year. So 18 months from then is actually around October this year. Now, again, that's a worst case. That actually fits somewhat in line when it comes to Charles Hoskinson, which predicts that Bitcoin as a best case scenario could hypothetically at least reach $250,000 in November this year, right? If we assume his worst case scenario price target and best case scenario timeline. So the way you take a look at it is that near the end of 2025, that could very well be a very special time. Now, only time will tell because history isn't always going to repeat itself. But when you take a look at Onyxcoin, ticker symbol XCN, it's the native token of the Onyx protocol. The Onyx protocol, what's so special about it is that it's a decentralized blockchain infrastructure that is focused on improving financial services. Again, we all know that when it comes to this market, it is on the rise. It's a proven market, by the way. You take a look at, again, Ripple, you take a look at Stellar. People know it works. You know, if let's say there was never the SEC case, let's say hypothetically, man, you know, really this thing I think would take off before what we've seen as of right now with XRP and XLM. I think it would happen a lot earlier. But then because, of course, that went down, it was a little bit of a different timeline. Now, let's take into consideration people love NFTs, right? However, if you take a look at the NFT market, it is predicted to be worth over $200 billion by 2030. Not bad. You also take a look at how, yet again, according to Grand View Research, now Grand View Research also predicted the NFT market, but also when it comes to blockchain gaming, they predict that the market size could be worth over $300 billion by 2030. Now, people think this is good. Now, why am I mentioning this? It's because I want to compare this later on to the global trade and finance market and as well as the payments market. But I want to use one more example. Last but not least, we take a look at AI. Now, people think AI is massive, and I do like AI projects. And think about this, right? Yet again, according to Grand View Research, they do predict that by 2030, the AI market could hypothetically be worth nearly $2 trillion. Now, again, these are all pretty massive markets, but you want to know a market that's already very proven. However, it could hypothetically be bigger in the future. Take a look at, for instance, right? The payments market as of right now is currently valued at over $2 trillion. So the valuation of the payments market currently is already more than what the AI market is predicted to be worth around 5 years down the line. You know, in 2030. Just imagine that, right? This market is so massive. People think that the AI market is massive, but again, this is the real McCoy in my opinion. Not to mention the global trade and finance market is expected to be worth up to $5 trillion by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. So you got to think about that. Really, is the market that Onyx is focused on bad? Is it oversaturated? Absolutely not. And again, when it comes to being oversaturated, that's not true because there really isn't that many good and reputable competitors. So I think it's in a very unique position where the market is massive. There's a lot of hypothetical potential, not that many good competitors. I think when it comes to XCN, it's easily top 5 when it comes to this space. Again, reaching the price of $1, I really don't see why not. If it were to reach that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $30 billion. Still over $50 billion less than Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. That's not crazy in my opinion. I don't see why not. I do believe that this porn still has a ways to go and I'm still very bullish on it. I'm just not giving up, especially when there's over 600 million crypto owners as we speak, more than ever before in history, according to Crypto.com research. Man, I think better days are ahead. And make sure to subscribe if you gained value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain. I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.